up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're gonna see if we can take our strategy even further beyond. Yes, that's a Dragon Ball reference. Rip Toriyama. We're gonna see if we can keep going with the same strategy we have been running in Light Ceiling, because I'd be really intrigued to see if we can somehow pass up the Dark faction with this strategy. And what I'm also considering is, well, can we use this strategy in the Dark faction? That could be interesting as well. I don't know if it's going to be a thing. I hope it is. The fear effect is still quite annoying, but we do have some Michelle's, and we actually got some CC off, which is a very big help. So I'm thinking we could probably get through Sealand 38 to the boss. I just don't know if we can take the boss out at that point. Being feared and CC'd almost the entire battle on our Yormtum is a very big negative, but he just needs a couple of attacks and he'll be fine. The best part is once you do come down to a couple enemies, typically Magic Stone Sword is going to keep you alive if you can stay at full health. The issue here is the fact that if they do more than 100% of your HP bar, technically Magic Stone Sword doesn't work, and that's the biggest issue with it, is that if the enemies are doing way too much damage, it basically does nothing on your hero and becomes worse than a crown. Now we might be able to break out and get some dodges going here, get a couple kills maybe, but you can see here sometimes we're taking too much damage where the Magic Stone Sword is not coming into play. What I might want to do here is go back to a Melodic Strings on him so we can at least get that first round active. That's going to be really impactful. Granted, it's kind of cool seeing these Michelle's getting actives off and CCing the enemy, which is kind of cool. Yeah, the amount of CC these waves has is the troubling part, because the other thing is just getting near impossible to outspeed these enemies, and if that's the case, you're never going to win. So let's try swapping him back to the Melodic String, see if he can do a ton of damage here. Kind of bad too, because it seems like the Vulcan is just not even living to get his active skill off. There we go. We finally get a good hit in round one, which is awesome. I wonder if I should put the Vulcan in the front row for this one and let the other Michelle stay alive. That way we don't have to deal with the fear effect, the horrify effect in round one. There we go. Vulcan getting an active off is pretty big. The Michelle's come back. They might actually, yeah, they actually get attacks off, which is cool. And they are feeding energy to help counteract the energy drain that is in here. So let's try doing that. Let's put the Vulcan in the front row and keep all three of the Michelle's from affecting our team in round one. Does mean he's going to take some hits. Oh, wait. That's the issue. He's got Balance Strike still on from the last boss wave. Whoops. That kind of makes sense. That actually makes a whole lot of sense now. The Michelle's staying alive, kind of cool, because they might actually get to another round of actives here. And the longer they stay around, the more energy they're going to feed, and the more buffs we're going to get. Oof. Ooh. Yeah, it would help if I actually had him set up properly, too. Honestly, I feel like the Magic Stone Sword, it's good to a point, but then, like I said, once the enemies are doing too much damage, that's when it becomes a little sketchy using them. Right here, we should be fine now, because we're going to proc Unbending Will, which will let him get actually a round one active off. And hopefully Michelle's can CC. Well, yeah, the entire enemy team is CC. That's actually really good. Holy cow. I was not expecting it to be that good. And then we get maybe a round 3 active again from Yormtum. Yeah, they all pretty much wake up, but they're low enough HP that we can pretty much take them out. Oh, it's still sketchy as heck. That is just not going to work. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to park this strategy for the time being. Go back to the good old strategy right here. We'll just give them back some things that we wanted to use. And then let's go back to our dark setup here. So we're going to have to change a few things around. I wonder if Magic Stone Sword on these heroes would be better. We want to maybe even put it on Lord of Fear Aspen here. And who else? Who else were we using? I think Patricia? Nah, we'll leave it off. Let's see what she can do, though. You guys remember, we got up to here. We actually got up to the second wave in 39. Just don't know if we're going to be able to survive. Let's see how this looks first and foremost, because I really don't remember how the battle was going. Holy cow, yeah, I don't know if Magic Stone Swords are strong. Oh, they are definitely not strong enough for our Tenant hero. However, for Aspen, is pretty healthy. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. So again, a lot of you guys might not have been playing back in the day when Magic Stone Sword at Splendid was literally the most overpowered thing in the world with specific strategies. Literally, the cause of the nerf in shields in this game was 100% due to the synergy with Magic Stone Sword, because it considered your shield bar as your health bar too, so you only took 25% of your shield bar, and you could basically stack an infinite amount of shields. And as you guys see here, it just there was a twofold nerf, and we're going to explain that here, because you guys have seen it was good to a point, but now it's really falling behind, and this is just the Magic Stone Sword isn't quite working the way we need it to, although it is keeping him alive decently, but the damage just isn't quite there on him. You could probably run like Balance Strike. I mean, we getting close. So what happened and what was the nerf? Well, let's go to a hero that does provide shields and is very easy to talk about. Let's actually just go right over to Fiona, because she was part of the strategy. It reads now: offset the direct damage and damage over time received will disappear when the strength reaches 0. The strength and shield caps at 100% of the owner's HP. Now that's a very important distinction, because back in the day you could clear, what was it, Defier, which was the highest difficulty in Void Vortex, with a bunch of 5-star heroes. Yes, 5 stars. They were Fiona, there were Delasiums. I forget what the other hero was in there too. Carry? Is that what it was? No, I can't remember what it was, the exact strategy. But essentially what it used to be is it basically the strength had no, or the shield strength had no cap to it. It just infinitely went on, and as you went through rounds and rounds, the shield just kept stacking up, because the synergy was with the Fiona, with Delasiums that were essentially replicating attack debuffs. So I feel like we probably had like a Heart Watcher in the team, much like the strategy goes for Broken Spaces nowadays. And then beyond that, we of course had this Magic Stone Sword, which read a little differently. Right now it says offsets not exceeding 100% of the wearer's HP, the damage received capping the single damage received at 20% of their max HP. So that never used to be like that. Essentially, previously it just always worked. You only took 20, or I think at the time it might have been 25% of your HP bar per hit. However, your shield would also be considered part of that. So even if you're going up against 6 enemies, you could be at full shield and then drop down to like 50% HP if you got hit with everything at crazy amounts of HP or damage. What this now changed it to is, as you guys just saw in the previous battles where it's kind of falling off. So basically it means if you take more than 100% of your HP bar, this does not reduce the damage at all, which is pretty game breaking when it basically means this is a useless artifact, because it just gives regular damage reduction. It's not even all damage reduction, and then you're not getting that bonus effect. I really wish they would retool this one more time, maybe like make it not exceed but change it to like a 50% or something like that instead of a 20% max hit. But that's the whole reason. It was way back in the day, the way that shields and this Magic Stone Sword kind of synergized together was not good. The only reason why this is sometimes god tier is because the HP pool that we have has gotten to a very, very high limit. And so if you take more than 5 billion or less than 5 billion in a single hit, then you only take 20% of your HP bar. If you take more than 5 billion in your hit, well, it looks like you're going down to 0. So that is why this can be extremely good or extremely bad. Most people should not be building this artifact, trust me. Just don't do it. But if you do have some, you might find some niche uses like we did yesterday. Hope you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.